just to any of you guys who may be struggling to pick your niche, I wanted to give you guys some prompts just to kind of to help you tease some of that out. And for those of you who have already gotten clear on your niche, definitely feel free in the chat if you want to share more ways or any hacks, any mental hacks that helped you kind of narrow it in. Feel free to drop those in the chat. You might be prompted as these ideas come up to share something that helped you. So definitely know the floor is open for that. Okay, so Kenyatta said, makes sense. I'm in that place of having not niche down yet. Okay, good. So Kenyatta, I'm hoping that these are going to help you start to get there. All right, so the first prompt, this is one of my favorites, and that resonates with me the most, is, do you have a heart or a mission for a certain group of people? For me, I wanted primarily African-American Christian entrepreneurs who, there's so much devotional stuff out there, but not really that weren't really in a voice of like an African-American entrepreneur, and definitely not a female African-American, entrepreneur. And so, I knew that I had help in my soul for them, and that, and those were my heart. That was my heart mission group. And you guys may have a mission group or someone a type of person that you just feel really called to, to build your business for, right? So think about, who are you called to serve? It doesn't have to be, when I say mission, like, I don't mean it has to be, in a nonprofit sense, right? It's just, your mission can be moms, it can be dads, whatever. And it's not about like, okay, I got to do something free for them, but it's about like, who do I feel most called to serve? Who is calling out to me, right? And so next, maybe some of you don't have a mission, or feel like called to a certain group of people. And I want you guys to know, like, that is 100% okay. Like, you don't have to have this like divine calling, right, for a certain group of people. If God has that for you, it will reveal itself. But if you don't really have that sense, then just think about, who do you like and want to be around? As many of us are thinking of building businesses that ultimately will become our full-time jobs, right? And so who do you like? Because you're probably going to spend a lot of time with them, or spend a lot of time getting to know them, learning about them. And so think about, who do you actually like and want to be around, right? So another one, are you your target? For many of us, especially starting out, many of us often start out as our target audience. And many times your target audience can be a version of yourself from the past, right? Like, you went through something earlier on in your life or your career or your business or your motherhood or whatever the case, and you've sort of overcome something and you're in a new place, you're in a better place, and the person that you really want to target is the person who's still back there. And so many times our target really fits who we are. It fits your demographic and, what you desired and wanted when you were in that stage in life. So maybe you are your target. So that's something to consider as well. Many folks that I know, it's like, you are your target market. Like, when it gets down to, when you boil it all down, often we start out with a version of ourselves as our target, a previous version of ourselves as our target. Another prompt, who's your best current or past client that you loved working with the most, right? So maybe you've been operating in business for, a little bit, maybe not long, it could be a month or so, or maybe it's 10 years, whatever the case. Like, is there one client or customer that you worked with that was just like, oh my God, if I could just have 15 more of these customers, or if I could, build a community with these types of people, like, that would just bring me life in ways that I can't even describe, right? And that kind of goes along with that, like, who do you like and want to be around, right? Who did you love working with the most? Who was able to pay you what you were worth? Who was who really just got it, or who really took what you gave them and ran with it, or who really got results from what you gave them or from your product. Those are the types of people that, if you have experience and customers already, think about that one or that, 2 or 3 customers that were like, man, I wish I could have more of them. That would be great. And so what do you know about those people? Okay. Another prompt is, do you know a particular audience really well already and don't really realize it yet? I like to share, I have a recent one-on-one client of mine. She is like a dance choreographer for kids. And by virtue of doing that work, she has become really knowledgeable about their parents, the children's parents, specifically their moms and dance moms. And so as she was looking at creating a coaching program around, her specific, area of expertise, she was like, well, I don't know who my target is. I don't know. And like, as we got into it, it's like, well, girl, like dance moms are like, them like the back of your hand, even though you're not a dance mom. You have been doing this for 10 years and you're an expert at what, and they've already been coming to you for advice. And she just didn't even realize, like, oh my gosh, like, duh, that makes so much sense. And so think about, is there an audience that you know and just don't think about as someone who could be your target, but maybe they'd be a really great target audience. Maybe they already trust you. Maybe you worked in this area for a number of years in your career, or something to that effect, right? So think about the gold that you might already be sitting on that you may not have realized is gold, which could be in the form of an audience, right? And then what audience do you know best, right? So maybe you have a particular experience and expertise with a specific segment of the market. And again, many of us, it's ourselves. But some of us may have had jobs or just family experiences or growing up experiences where you know a particular target really, really well. Maybe you are, who knows? But just think about, is there an audience that you're a particular expert in? Like, you just know these people so well that you can speak to them. They might be your target. Another one is, who needs the product that you're offering the most, right? And I know that many of us are like, well, everybody needs my product. And I'm sure everybody does, but who needs it the most? And when you're thinking about distributing that product, like, who do you imagine when you close your eyes, like, is gonna just benefit the most from this thing? And just like, they will hug and love this thing so much because they need it more than anything. Think about that. And think about also, for many of those of you who are service-based, or, your offerings are going to be more touching people and interacting with people. Who needs your unique or teaching people, who needs your unique combination of skills, talents, and experiences the most? Maybe anybody can benefit from what you know, but like your perspective and experience that you have gained from the trials and tribulations that you've gone through, the life lessons that you've learned, maybe there is a specific type of person that would benefit more from your perspective than others. So those are some prompts. And again, feel free to share some ideas in the chat. I'm going to check the chat real quick because it looks like y'all have been having some good conversations in here.